They were teenagers, innocent, trusting, and they were lured to their deaths by a couple who called themselves lovers. Welcome to the horrifying story of the Moors murders, one of the most evil crimes in British history. Between 1963 and 1965, 5 children and teenagers vanished in Manchester, England. Some were as young as 10 years old. Ian Brady, a man obsessed with evil control, and Nietzsche and Myra Hindley, his girlfriend, who helped him lure, torture, and bury the victims on the desolate Saddleworth Moor. They're killers, and how justice came too late for the innocent. This is not just a story of murder. It's a story of how evil can hide behind a smile. Ian Brady was born in 1938 in Glasgow, Scotland. From a young age, he showed signs of cruelty, torturing animals, lying, and manipulating others. He became obsessed with Nazi ideology, philosophy, and the idea of being above good and evil. Myra Hindley was born in 1942 in Manchester. She came from a poor family and worked as a clerk. She was intelligent, attractive, and seemed kind. They met in 1961 while working at the same company. Brady quickly took control, turning Myra into his accomplice. At first, their relationship seemed normal, but behind closed doors, it was filled with control, abuse, and dark fantasies. Together, they would become one of the most infamous crime couples in history. The Moors murders targeted vulnerable children and teenagers, all of whom were betrayed by trust. Let's remember who they were. Pauline Red disappeared on July 12, 1963, while walking to a dance. She was last seen near Manchester. Her body was found on the moors in 1987. John Kilbride. Lured from a football match in 1963, he was promised a lift home. His body was found on the moors in 1965. Keith Bennett vanished on June 16, 1964, on his way to visit his grandmother. His body has never been found. His mother spent decades begging Hindley for answers, until her death. Her body was found on the moors in 1965, with dreams, with families, with lives that were stolen. Leslie Ann Downey. Taken on December 6, 1964, she was recorded being abused before her murder. Edward Evans. Killed in October 1965 in Brady and Hindley's home. He was the only victim not buried on the moors. These were not just names, they were children. Brady and Hindley didn't just kill, they planned, manipulated, and enjoyed their crimes. They would approach victims with fake kindness, offering lifts, jobs, or help. Once alone, they would take them to remote areas on the moors. There, the torture began. Brady recorded some of the abuse. He kept photos. He treated the murders like a twisted game. The victims were strangled or suffocated. Their bodies were wrapped and buried in shallow graves on the moors, hidden under rocks and peat. Hindley drove the victims to the moors, and she smiled for photos beside gravesites, wearing a red coat that would become iconic in true crime history. The case broke open in October 1965 when police arrested Brady and Hindley for the murder of Edward Evans. During a search of their home, detectives found a tape recording, the sounds of a young girl crying and being abused. It was Leslie Ann Downey. The recording shocked the nation. Under questioning, Hindley eventually confessed. In 1965, she led police to the bodies of Pauline, John, and Leslie buried on the moors. Brady and Hindley were both sentenced to life in prison in 1966. Despite decades of pressure, neither ever revealed where Keith Bennett was buried, and his body remains missing to this day. Even after their deaths, the questions remain. Was Myra Hindley a victim or a killer? Some believe she was brainwashed by Brady. Others say she was equally guilty, even taking photos at burial sites with pride. Why won't Keith Bennett be found? Hindley gave conflicting clues before her death. Some believe she never revealed the truth, even on her deathbed. Did they kill others? Brady claimed responsibility for more murders, but was never charged. The Moors murders changed how the UK viewed serial killers, child safety, and the psychology of evil. The Moors murders remain one of the darkest chapters in British criminal history. Was Myra Hindley a victim of manipulation, willing killer? And will Keith Bennett ever be found? Maybe you've heard this story before, or maybe this is your first time learning about it. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop your theories in the comments below. Was Myra guilty, or was she controlled by Brady? If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most haunting true crime cases in history, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell so you never miss another episode. Next week, we'll be diving into another chilling mystery, the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. So stay tuned, stay curious, and keep solving crimes with us. Until next time, goodbye and good night.